if it were up to me, I would be very careful in offering young people or people that are struggling with cash credit, because it creates this false sense of security. Now, I get it. If you're struggling and you need to put food on the table, and if you have a family and if you have obligations, this is a tool that many need to tap into. But what I'm saying is, if you tap into it too much, it can have the reverse effect. Here's what I would do. First, we got to understand your financial picture. We have to understand how much you're spending, and we need to understand if you're spending on necessities or things that you don't need. Whenever I have young people or anybody come to me and talk about the topic of money, the first thing I do is say, what are your highest interest debts and how do we eliminate those fast as possible? So the first thing I do is say, let's get a snapshot of your financial well-being. There's tools like YNAB, which we've talked about on this podcast, that can help you put your dollars to work. There's tools like Mint that can help you figure out where your dollars are going. But one of the biggest problems is that people are unaware of how they're spending their money. And this has been me, and it's been Lauren for sure. And I were in a situation where I was carrying debt and unable to get ahead of that debt. This is where I would start. First, I would log into all of my financial institutions and bank accounts, and then I would figure out where I could drastically cut on those expenses. This, for most people, is the hardest and worst part, because you have to make a ton of sacrifices, but it's so important because we have to clear that debt. Many listening may say, easy for you, Michael, but I promise you this has been us. A good book, and it's a basic book, but for anyone that's like, hey, Michael, where do I start with this? How do I understand budgeting? How do I understand money? If you go and you look at the book, Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey, he's got a lot of good advice. And this is very basic stuff for budgeting and debt and all these things. So that's where I would start.